We are live from the Hideaway. We're down here. Somehow they decided there was this like debate when we got here. Should we be up in the dining room where we are during football season most times? Should we be out in the patio, their great, clean, well trimmed patio, during a golf tournament, which we never. And then out of nowhere, we ended up in a hallway where no one goes unless they're taking a crap. So I don't. I don't really know how we got here. I think it's because Chad and Mac are at the Yankees game, and Tim doesn't care about us like he used to. And then it was, is it Rick? Is that the guy? What's the guy? Rob. There's a new guy named Rob who doesn't give two craps about us. And then Clea's down here blowing shit up. So I mean, it's been a. I take back everything I've ever said about Clea because she just brought me one of their amazing Bloody Marys here at the Hideaway, and now everything's better. Everything's good. Everything's okay.
We're good. It's an interesting weather day here.
Cheers, actually.
Cheers, yeah, cheers. It's been long overdue here back at the Hideaway.
Ooh. Yes, it has.
They're so good.
Yes, it has. I was gonna do a sober October, and then I remember we were doing these
sober October.
So I decided to go ahead and I'm gonna meal prep and work out or something instead.
Later on, you and I have breakfast-themed garbage plates, by the way, coming up, which I'm very excited about. Looking forward to that.
It amazes me the amount of people. Like, if you ever want to know whether or not someone has set foot in the area of Rochester, New York, reference a garbage plate. Like, it's all you have to do. Like there's things in this world, like, somebody's like on the same level as you. You'll bring something up and no one ever acknowledges it, and then you say it, and somebody goes like, I don't need like whatever it is. Like it's like a secret handshake. You know what I mean? It's like it must be what it's like to be a member of like the Masons or whatever, where it's like they know how to like, oh, you hate poor people too or something, like whatever. And then
handshake,
and they hand each other a 50. I don't know. If you say garbage plate and people go like their head tilt like a dog hearing a high pitched noise, they've never been to Rochester. If you say garbage plate and their eyes light up, you're like, oh, what were you in Rochester? What'd you do there? And it's like, boom. So you should come try it. Breakfast themed has my curiosity piqued a great deal. And we'll come check that out. So I think what would probably most equate to most people, I believe a breakfast version of garbage plate would be like a scramble type thing, like a really awesome scramble. So we'll try that for you as soon as we're done with this crap. And then and we'll let you know exactly how it is. Welcome back to the Hideaway. It's Levack, Goz, and the Golden Tee game. It got really loud as soon as we
got on. I was very concerned. Behind us, as you can see on our visual side, we have the London game. Cheerio, fish and chips, hello. We have that going on behind us, so we made sure to take the volume down. And for whatever reason, 2003 Golden Tees decided to hop into the show.
Yeah. It didn't make a single noise, and then Tim started like shaking it to show how old it was. And it's ever since then, it's like, I'll show you how old I am. And it's like all over the place. Big old. I will also point out that we had 5 people watching when we started. We have 0 now. So I'm glad we started this. We said garbage plate, and people just all jumped in their vehicles and they're headed to the Hideaway. I think that's
room. Take off and run.
I choose to believe that's what's happening. Don't be afraid to put us on your YouTube app, and don't watch us at that point, but we'll do it. We'll get it going.
Where do you think we should?
Oh my God.
Uh-oh.
The guys in the office are going for the Titans. That's not going to happen. We'll do our picks coming up.
We've got so much NFL, so much football content to get to today on a great Sunday. October, one of the best months all year long when it comes to sports. But as weird as it is, Levack, should we start with Aaron Judge? Like, should we start with the final weekend in Major League Baseball? Because you mentioned our guys, Chad and Chris, are not here. They're out checking out whether or not Aaron Judge can actually break the American League record. 62 is still possible. 61 is where he's sitting. With the Yankees basically having everything clinched, I guess I got a 2-part question here. 1, Aaron Judge, has it taken anything away from this that the wait's been a little bit longer? And 2, do you like that Major League Baseball is not ending the regular season on a weekend? They're pushing this thing till Wednesday, so they kind of have their spotlight by themselves for games 161 and 162.
No, I don't. I don't think there's that much forethought in any of this crap. I really don't. I think that nobody wants to pitch to him. Nobody wants to be the guy. I think that's what it comes down to. And luckily, like I said, your terrible Orioles are around, and hopefully they'll do it. Hopefully they'll let him have it.
In Baltimore, you had a successful season. You right? Yeah, I know they're not a playoff team. The American East was loaded with the Blue Jays and the Rays and the Yankees, all going to be playoff teams. Great. But Baltimore, I'm proud of you guys. You're like a kid getting a C+ on a test.
I think most important thing to remember is Baltimore was postseason alive far longer than the Boston Red Sox. And if there's one thing that you and I can agree on, screw Boston, right? I mean, at this point, at least you can, because you're too soft to say it on a regular basis. But like at this moment, all those Red Sox fans who are talking crap about your Orioles guys, you get to look at them and go, hey, we had to wait an extra week to schedule our golf trips to the Hideaway. Ha ha.
Take that,
Yeah.
Boston. We're not the worst. We're not the worst. We're not going to sit in last place. That's right.
Does he have it? I mean, like he hit 62, right? Is that it? 63? Where do you put? I'm going to get bold. I'm going to say 64 is his final number.
I was going to say 65. So we are not too far off.
Okay,
on
you're
that
bolder
number.
than I am, but good for you.
As long as it's, I don't like this answer, but I feel like it's the most truthful answer with this. As long as it's over 61, because it's not the Bonds record. And a lot of people, we've mentioned this last week, non-New York fans are getting very frustrated that how dare you cut into games for go for 62? Like there's a lot of people outside, I guess, New York, Boston, and Los Angeles a little bit that are very anti this. I don't know if it's anti-Yankee or, again, Bonds is so much further ahead and all that stuff that it does not feel like 1998. And maybe it's the world of social media and Twitter's taking over too much. Yeah, that might be more
because
of it.
People were bitching that. Mm-hmm. You just had to wait a day or two to read about it.
Right.
Like you couldn't do it all like right away. You had to get an email or, you know, or see it in the paper or wait until you got to the local convenience store, you know, Tommy's, Electrical Market. You know what I'm saying? You had to walk in there and then you hear the grumpy old farts. Hey, I can't believe I have to keep watching this Bond character. And they would throw like the N-word in there too, but no.
That's right. No. May did it in 154. Yeah, right. You hear me? George Herman Ruth did it 154.
He was a Hawaii. It's like that was what it was back then.
This is why we're down here, by the way.
Yeah, I just realized why we're bathroom adjacent. I just realized. No, so yeah, I think you had the same amount of malcontents as you do now. It's just now everybody's got a platform to spew their crap. And it's like, I think the only reason it's less exciting, I believe, is if you remember, take the actual steroids out of Barry Bonds' equation just for a hot second. He had battle armor on. So like he was standing over the plate so much that you either had to legitimately instantly like intentionally walk him, or you were going to hit him, or you were going to give him something he could hit. It was going to happen. So like each one of those at bats went faster. Where Judge is up there working at bats, trying to make sure his team is taken care of. So I think it's just one of those. It's just one of those situations where when you look at what he is, the way he approaches the at bats, it's funny because the same person who's bitching about baseball degrading should be in love with the way he's approaching his at-bats. Like, I want to get in play. I want to make sure we lock up the number 2 seed. I want to do all these things. Then I'll worry about home runs. And meanwhile, like, that's what, yeah, in my day, you worked to count and you hit for contact. And if it went over the wall, yay. But you didn't sit up there and strike out 300 times. And now it's like this. Here's a guy who's doing it the right way and hitting 61, hopefully 63, 4 or 5 home runs. And it's taking too long. I want to watch my stories.
I hope he hits it now. I hope with Chad and Mac there, I hope he hits it. They get to see 62. And I hope they catch the ball. I hope the Hideaway is the spot where you can come see the Aaron Judge.
Too good for him to catch the ball. Chad's, I guarantee you, and even if Chad's seats don't start off as too good to catch the ball, unless he hits it directly over the Yankees dugout, like just pops it up, unless it hits the foul pole and ricochets all the way back to like, because that's where Chad will end up. I guarantee you. And Mac has no right to be there. Mac should not be there.
He's a Red Sox fan.
Correct. So that like, I love you, Mac, but you should be here serving me Bloody Marys. Actually, I prefer Cleat. Never mind. Stay where you are.
Even though the season is not 162 today, there were so many good things like we're leading up to this, right? Like Judge at 61. Will he break it? Will he won't? If this was game 162 today. The Braves and Mets series. The New York Mets are no longer in first place.
Yeah.
Met fan, you've had all season long. We've talked about this is a different team. You won't blow it. You won't choke, blah, blah, blah. But Atlanta was aggressive again, the reigning defending World Series champions. And Atlanta's they caught up to them. They played better than New York this season, at least towards the end here in the later summer, early fall. So now the Mets have lost their spot in first place. Judge is chasing a home run record. Philadelphia and Milwaukee, two really passionate fan bases, are battling for the final playoff spot. Cleveland caught the White Sox, where the White Sox have been talking junk all season long, and old man LaRusse has fallen asleep in the dugout. So there's some great, and Seattle Mariners, our guy Brady Farkas, the longest consecutive non-playoff season in any North American professional sport was held by the Mariners currently until they snapped that streak this week. So with all these great storylines, it would have felt good if today was 162. But you know, I think I'm okay with it because baseball said we might get swallowed up by the NFL. Let's have our own nights be Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll get out of the NFL's way. Yeah. We'll do our thing. We'll hype up all that stuff. This will be baseball midweek, NFL this week. So I will, maybe they were that smart. Maybe they weren't. But with all those cool storylines still hanging out there, maybe baseball has a better in-week than this Sunday.
He must have heard us somehow talking about him. Chad Darrow, our buddy. Hi, friends. So, of course, Chad is our guy here at the Hideaway. We always look forward to seeing Chad when we come here. And Chad seems to find new and interesting ways to avoid us every time he's here. And this time he's at the Yankees game. Chad, when you get a chance, start sending us pictures of where you're sitting. Like as you progress to better seats.
The Zach Hampel of the crowd.
If Chad ever had one of those seats like right behind home plate, you'd blink, he'd be gone, and you look over, he'd be handing like the lineup card in. Like he would find a way. His next seat would be in the dugout. He'd be next to Boone, just shaking his head. Like he always finds his way to a better seat than where he started.
I feel like Chad could be like a modern day Bobby Valentine with like a fake mustache and like really like poor toupee. I think that'd be actually funnier for me if he catches 62 and then just walks around with a disguise like Chad Powers from Eli Manning, you know, like
the only mustache that guy's ever going to wear besides when he grows is, you know how you get a milk mustache?
Yeah.
This would be like a Jameson mustache. That's the only mustache, fake mustache that Chad will ever have is a Jameson mustache right there. So yeah, I hope it's today. Even though there's a filthy Red Sox fan there. And Judge, I think Judge is he's a more likable Jeter at this point. Where it's like even teams that don't like the Yankees, even people who don't like the Yankees, they're like, I hate the Yankees. Well, Judge is okay. It's like
why is he a more likable Jeter? I love that comment, but
he's more outgoing.
Okay,
like Jeter wasn't as outgoing at that point. Like Jeter now reminds me of Judge now. Like where Jeter will go and talk to the guys from Barstool and he'll tell the truth about stuff. He's like, if we had lost to the Mets, I would have moved. Like stuff like that. Like he's more open now, where Judge seems to be. I think there's going to be – I really hope Judge continues on this trajectory for two reasons. One, I'm hoping it's as a Yankee, and that means a lot of wins and championships for the Yankees. But two, I want to see the Judge, 9-episode, Judgment Day or whatever the hell it's called. And then because the background story of him and the misses, I need all of that. Because when you see him, he doesn't strike you as the guy who would have a girlfriend, fiance, wife who would, do you know who my boyfriend is? When she gets pulled over drunk. Like of all the guys on the Yankees, I thought he'd be the last one to have that.
She's worse than Brittany Mahomes. Like Brittany Mahomes is just, and Patrick Mahomes' wife we're talking about there. Like she is just wild and screaming and stuff.
Chad is weaseling his way into the outfield. He said you can't catch 62 from the dugout. So this will officially be the farthest he's ever sat from like first base today. I have a feeling.
I feel like Chad and our pal Rob Blum, who worked for the Yankees, would maybe kindred spirits. Dare we say?
I think it's one of those things. They'd either be best friends instantly or those beta fish.
Okay.
Where they're just too similar with their ability to wiggle through things and have fun and whatever. And it would be like they like, oh my God, you're cool. Oh my God, you're cool. Or like, get out of my lane, bro.
You are me.
Yeah, right.
Spider-Man pointed at each other potentially there. Levack, it is October. It's an exciting time for our friends at Lily and David Fine Jewelers. If you're coming to the Hideaway, stop by. Remember Lily and David Fine Jewelers. Not too far away. I'd give you directions on how to get there. I'm not a direction person, though. But I'm telling you, it's not that far away. Just like Spider-Man pointing in different directions. Shout out to Alyssa, Dave, and everybody there. The 10th anniversary at Lily and David Fine Jewelers. 10-year celebration. Over 600 pieces of jewelry right now in store, marked off as high as 70% off. Guys, whether it's the engagement, the wedding band, the holiday gift, the birthday gift, the anniversary, whatever it is, If you've waited to shop at Lily and David Fine Jewelers, this is the month to do it. When you're getting 70% off for their celebration, whatever it is, colored stone fashion, watches. That's right. The missus can get you something if you've been waiting and saying, hey,
nice. Wouldn't that be nice?
A little watch there for the birthday coming up all month long. Lily and David Fine Jewelers celebrating 10 years, and they want to make sure they take care of you and you take care of somebody special in your life. Up to 70% off of supplies going on to celebrate 10 years. Wilton, New York, Route 50, the shops of Wilton, family-owned and operated business. Get that holiday shopping done soon and take care of her so you can watch 7 hours of commercial-free football. Scott Hansen would love that, by the way, that I constantly weave in the red zone into that. Lily and David Fine Jewelers will be stopping, telling you about Levack and Goz right here. Story, all those good things.
I think I'm starting to hate red zone.
Whoa, that's a hot takes right there.
And it's not like it's a bad product. It's an amazing product. But when you suffered with ADHD and all that other crap your whole life, and then they build a channel that is that, like it's football ADD, like it's what it is. It's like I hate it. I don't feel like I retain any NFL information when I watch that way. Like when we go upstairs here at the Hideaway to watch the games at 1:00, I'll be able to hear one game, right? And then all the other games will be on. But I'll retain more watching it that way than I would with, all right, now we're going to the Minnesota's in the red zone. Here we go. All right, 3 plays later. All right, Minnesota's no longer in the red zone. They scored. We're now going to Vegas. Vegas in the red zone. Oh, Vegas turned it over. Now we're going to. And then by the end, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, I saw all the things. And then ask me what I saw. It's like that memory test. I'm going to give you 4 things. You got to remember them in order. Go. It's like, Minnesota had a poopy.
Purple.
And Thor was there, and then the Raiders lost, right? Okay, that's normal. Like, yeah, I just don't retain anything.
If you're not a fantasy football player, maybe red zone is not as great as I think it is. I think it's the greatest thing ever.
It's amazing while you're in it, like while you're watching it, but like you don't have the same issues I have. Where like I'm like, oh next, oh no, oh blue car, like it's just it's great when it is in your team, but I retain nothing. Like it's in and it's out and it's gone, and then I just right back to and then I watch Sports Center and go, oh, when that happened? It's like, well, you saw it, you watched it happen live on Red Zone. No, you didn't. No. Oh, look when that happened. Right after that, also on. No, I retain none of it. I retain absolutely zero of it. I prefer the Hideaway with them all on around me, and I can and then you just listen for the noise, right? So like if like somebody's up there in a Giants jersey. And you hear them go, oh, it's like, oh, Giants did something bad. And you look over there, or you hear them cheering, like, oh, Giants. Like I can pull my attention to what it was. I think is what
like waves. There, I saying, you can feel the wave, ride the wave like a boogie board,
like a waterbed. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's it. That's where I'm at. So you want to talk about your filthy
5-0 Syracuse Orange. Look, this is one of the headlines of the college football national perspective from the weekend. It really is. Because something happened in that game that I truly don't think I can ever remember happening in a football game at the college level. If you missed it, Syracuse is up 49-0 at halftime.
Insane.
Sean Tucker could have broken the single game rushing record at Syracuse because he was going untouched on some plays. But going into the third quarter, Wagner and Syracuse had decided they were going to just play 10-minute quarters.
Yeah, explain this to me, because like I wasn't watching the game at that time. So is that a thing? Are you allowed to do that?
I had no idea this was a rule. I have to fully admit it. I watch a ton of college football. The story goes, the reports coming from Central New York is that the Wagner coach, Tom Masula, who is yet to win a game, 0-17 as the head coach of Wagner, and Dino Babers had just decided at halftime, hey, coach, do you want to play 10-minute quarters to get off the field? And he's like, yeah. So the coaches just decided mid-game. I know you can't take action on New York college teams, but I would imagine if our friends at DraftKings and others, that have to just automatically be a refunded ticket. You just can't change the rules during the game, although Syracuse did cover. But
what was the over? What was the total?
It was 54.5, and Syracuse won 59-0.
Yeah. So I think if it had been under, maybe you'd have an argument. But wait, so like you call. Yeah, I had the under, and they played less time. And so you think if they had more time? Like I think if it had gone under, I think you would have had an argument if you had the over.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And also, Sean Tucker got hurt.
Oh no!
So that was bizarre that you're trying to run out the clock in Dino Babers had to face it in the press conference of, he was just going to get one more series. That's always how it happens for the coach, right? Like the one series next that he got injured on. Yeah, sure. But he's fine. He's not injured. He's going to be probably likely to go for NC State.
But that's difficult too, because if I can pad his numbers in that game, schlubs like you might be more willing to vote for him for the Heisman, which his draft stock goes up and everything else. So it's not like the NFL where it's like, oh, that's $1 million athlete and you took him off the field. Or, it's like, think about, like, if it was the NFL and he was chasing some kind of prolific record, you'd let him go another drive. Wagner and good sportsmanship be damned. But because people are just like, oh my God, you should have had him off the field, whatever. It's like, ask Tucker what he wanted.
Yeah.
I guarantee Tucker didn't want to come off the field. Tucker saw easy yards out there against Wagner.
All he needed was 30 more yards. That's not a lot. 30 yards for a school rushing record, that's pretty cool. And it ended up not happening, but it could have been a lot worse.
What's the Wagner coach's name?
Tom Masula?
Oh, I thought it was Tom Sula. That was that guy.
It almost was the weekend of upsets. You and I were texting about Georgia and Missouri, Alabama and Arkansas. Turn on that into Bugs.
Yeah.
Go Hogs. Didn't happen though. Ohio.
I text you. That's 23 unanswered points from Arkansas. And I think between me hitting send and the text hitting your phone, Bama scored twice. Like Bama went like, oh, the game's not over. Oh, we thought it was still halftime. Oh, I'm sorry. And then just started annihilating them.
Basically without Bryce Young, who had that shoulder injury, but came back, but was grabbing his shoulder. I doubted your Michigan Wolverines. Iowa still has no offense, and they had some moments there where they could have covered, but Michigan, Ohio State, and Clemson, like those top 5 teams in the country, it was a really fun start to watch Clemson, NC State, but Chris Fowler made this joke during the NC State-Clemson broadcast. He said to Herbstreit, he said, there's a lot of undefeated teams, but it could be anybody in the national championship. And Fowler turned and goes, no, it can't. He's like, no, I could tell Herbstreit was pissed. He's like, I mean, is it that 5 and everybody else in no particular order? Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, and Clemson, and then drop off. Like, I know Oklahoma State's good. They won. They beat Baylor. Tennessee's still undefeated. Syracuse, Kansas is where College Game Day is going. Not Alabama and Texas A&M. Not Oklahoma and Texas. Kansas. It feels like it's those 5, and then a little bit of a cutoff for everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, because how many of those 5 will stay undefeated? What, 3 of them maybe?
3, because Georgia and Bama will have to play each other, and Michigan, Ohio State will have to play each other.
And then even the ones who get defeated, they might still have a shot, depending upon how they are defeated. But yeah, no, I think you're probably pretty close. Maybe somebody else slips in. Because nobody would have had Cincinnati making it at this point last year, even though they're playing really well.
Yeah, and USC's good. They're still undefeated. Oklahoma State has always been at the top. There are some teams out there for sure that maybe can sneak in, but it feels like at least quality of play, roster, performance. Even though Georgia got tested by Missouri, it would have been really cool to see them pull that off. It feels like it's a little bit of everybody else versus. And if you're keeping track at home, there's talks of College Game Day even less likely now, going to Syracuse for that NC State game because of how poorly NC State's offense looked. And could you imagine if College Game Day decided, hey, we're going to Lawrence, Kansas, and Syracuse, New York, back-to-back weekends in mid-October? I don't know if that's going to sell over Penn State versus Michigan, who are both undefeated, likely in the top 10.
Yeah, Michigan scared me a little bit because they took their foot off the gas and they didn't seem to know how to put it back on. Like that made me a little nervous until that second to last drive for Iowa, when they hit the quarterback for Iowa like 4 straight times, took him to the dirt, and then scored, and then again didn't seem to care, but it's just like I don't know if they have that killer instinct yet, which they need to have, and JJ McCarthy needs to be out there as much as humanly possible.
UAlbany football on a bye, so they will be back against Monmouth on October 8th. Union and RPI still doing pretty good. Union 45-0 winners over Buff State. My Hobart State's been slaughtered by Ithaca. Ithaca and Cortland. There you go. If you need a little D3 love, you need a little upstate New York football love, I believe it's still a Yankee Stadium this year for Cortland, the Cortica Jug. They had to get it off campus because of how insane the Cortica Jug was getting. But by the time Ithaca and Cortland play each other, it is at the Yankee Stadium. So there you go. Chad and Mac and everybody else, we got to go back to Yankee Stadium for a great college football game.
I'm down for that.
You and I love that.
The only thing I've learned is don't get the most expensive seats, because you end up in the bleachers. And I'm like, we've had $160 a seat for a college football game, and we have a back. Couldn't even sit back drinking,
November 12th for that one, by the way. Cortica, Jug, potentially 2 top 10 upstate New York colleges at the Yankee Stadium. It should be an absolute party, but not like the parties that used to take place at Cortland and Ithaca. And they'd stop pushing people in grocery carts down streets when they got too overserved.
A friend of mine, she went to Cortland, and she was always trying to get me to go to that damn game. But her love of Cortland was just too much for me. I was like, no, I can't share your affections with the stupid school. So you go on your own. I'll stay here. I
think you would have enjoyed it. There's some good spots out there in Cortland.
I hate people. I'm not a big people guy.
Do you like? I feel like I went too quick. Do you like that Kansas is 5-0 and get game days going there over Bama and A&M and Oklahoma? Is that a cool story? That 5 wins for Kansas football, more wins than they've had combined the last 6 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, it's as long as they don't go to Syracuse, so I don't have to go there. That's all.
We've given you everything you wanted. We're gonna do the show from the tailgate spot, and the next day we're back here at the Hideaway on the 15th. You're gonna get a 44 jersey, tickets to the game. Mm-hmm. That's all. See. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get more out of the deal. That's as high as I can go. I got nothing else I can offer.
Oh, you have things you can offer.
Gross.
Flower arrangement, if you know what I'm saying, would be a good start.
I like this term by Chad. Should we use the term overserved with too many drinks or over-ordered?
It's always overserved. It's always overserved.
Well.
So like, see, Chad would want to go over-ordered because he owns restaurants, right? So he doesn't want to take responsibility. But as the drunk at the restaurant, I always go overserved because I don't want to take responsibility. So it's like, so Chad, today you're a customer, so you're overserved. Now, when you're back here at the Hideaway or the Iron's Edge, they over ordered. See what I'm saying? So that's the logic there. Chad said they're in for maybe we should do like a bus from here to the Cortica Jug.
Ooh.
Like get our friends over at Yankee Trails involved and pile onto a bus with a big old tub of Hideaway Bloody Marys ready to go. Huh?
I like it.
Couple cool.
November 12th, mark it on the calendar. Speaking about that, allegedly my wife is going to make an appearance here at the Hideaway at some point today. I just got the text because somebody took the car seat.
I'm sorry about that, Jordan. I apologize. Speaking of floral arrangements, that's a good start for that. We can get that started.
If you need room for your car seat or you need floral arrangements or trips to the Bronx, New York, we hope you go there via Mohawk Honda. Grab a new vehicle for yourself. 2023s are on the way. 2022, fantastic vehicles. Great prices going for you right now. Allegedly, my mother-in-law, talk about the in-laws. I got 2 in-laws at my house right now. My mother-in-law was supposed to get a vehicle from Mohawk Honda. It is chaos, but she waited, and you should not wait. Take advantage of the great deals. The supply chain continues to be one of the most bizarre things that's happened in our lives.
I would go back to Mohawk Honda for one reason. Well, there's many reasons, but the top would be the off chance that I'd be there one of the times Goz brings his vehicle in for service, and you have to watch like, wait, you broke this again? Like, how did you get this? How did you do this? Like, how did you get waffle batter into the vents? Like, how did you? And it's just like, I don't know what I did. And then, like, my favorite is like Goz will go to John and everybody in the service department over at Mohawk Honda, and he'll start telling them it's not a big deal. Like, he'll pull in, his Honda Pilot is on fire. And it's fine. It's just the heat, right? It's good for you. It's cold out right now. Isn't that a thing? You want that? Like, and they're just like out there with a fire extinguisher, like, oh, great. We need the Goz special. And it's like a NASCAR pit crew. He's back out on the road. And the beauty is Goz is only a menace to himself. So, like, he'll destroy his own vehicle, come right back in. They'll fix it up good as new. He'll drive back out. 3 months later, he comes in for an oil change. Pieces are hanging off again, and then he'll explain to them it's not a big deal. There's no doors this time. It's okay. And then they're good. And Mohawk Honda takes care of them each and every time.
They always go out of their way to please you. Whether they should or they shouldn't, that is a decision that can be made with Greg Johnson, Lindsey Harrod, and everybody else over there. But they take care of me. October 27th, we will be back at Mohawk Honda. So you can watch us live there in Glenville, New York, and question why they continue to help me out when I may or may not deserve it.
I think it's almost like I think it's like one of those medical research hospitals now where everybody in like John Higgins and everybody in service over at Mohawk Honda is like, has anyone seen this before? And they send pictures of your vehicle, and like across the country, all the Honda dealers go, what the F? How did someone even do that? How'd they get the beans above the Franks? And then they like, yeah, we fixed it. And there's like the Goz files. They just keep sending your stuff out
from space, from that far away.
New Orleans took the lead over Minnesota over there in across the pond.
Cheerio, fish and chips. Hello. Here I am. We're down here. Here we are. You know what? Let's talk about the London game. I know for the playback audience is going to be weird. Not so much the game, but I think we have to combine two stories here because you and I were not on Thursday. This is one of our weekend shows. We've done a bunch of different Thursday shows over the last month through September. Is there a connection here between the London game and Tua's injury on Thursday? Because like old school sports writers, I know Mike Wilbon almost went viral with this take this week that if you watch the Tua Dolphins-Bengals game and Tua gets hurt, potentially a second concussion in 5 days. I use the term potentially because I'm not a doctor, although we found out there's a lot of doctors who are on Twitter all of a sudden. That
Dr. Giff and Dr. Meme.
Yeah, that's right. Dr. Giff and Dr. Meme. Yeah. We thought they had disappeared during COVID, but somehow they just came back and got a second degree here in September of 2022. But we have those guys, the Dolphins and Bengals, playing 2 games in 5 days. We've got these guys, the Saints and the Vikings, playing in London, and we've seen Jameis Winston, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, a late scratch. Some of these injuries and some of these issues and an expanded regular season. Like, I know people are talking about player safety and what can the NFL do to protect their players. Is it just obviously in front of us that Thursday, London, expanded season, this is all on the NFLPA and the NFL rather than like this fake we're caring about player safety when he's playing on a Thursday night? Hold on, I gotta get another. Think about that.
I have to get a second. Clea doesn't realize I'm just drinking it faster. She'll come back out. That's all. That's all I'm doing. Was that? Yeah. Well, that's what I want. We're trying to get her to hang out more. That's all. Actually, I got to get her to teach me how to freaking swing the golf clubs. See, here's my problem with this whole let's blame the NFL for Tua and the schedule. Like the schedule terrible. It's not great. It's not super conducive for stuff. But the bottom line is, do these guys want to make the money they want to make? Well, then we got to squeeze these games in because that's how everything goes up. But the Tua situation, the more I learn about how this works, we knew some of the stuff before, but we never really had to focus on it. So when you have an injury like Tua had in against the Bills, you go before the team doctor and an independent specialist that is there for both teams at that game. Independent. They're not paid by either team. They do everything on their own. That is the individual that can decide whether or not you go back into the game, and that is the individual that will study you after the game to see if you should go into the concussion protocol. That individual got fired. He's no longer employed. So that's the guy who really let everybody down here. And that's the guy who I think ultimately needs, like, we need to make sure that guy's better. Like, maybe we should know who that guy is. Maybe if we have like it used to be, if you heard Dr. James Andrews, it was like, we're screwed. That's a torn ACL. That's Tommy John surgery. That's something, whatever. That guy needs to be better because just the staggering around and everything like that, like even if you want to say it was a back injury, just the staggering, even if you let him go back in the game, he should have went into concussion protocols. And then, yes, it's a shorter week. He'd have to pass concussion protocols faster or he wouldn't play. That'd be that. He should have been, the fact that he didn't go into concussion protocols, that's the problem with that whole thing.
There's also a part of this technology-wise that I'm a little surprised that we as a society, we as sports fans, the NFL's league, has enough been done to understand concussions still? Like, you and I were in the theater. It's one of the first, it's the only time in my life we got a sneak preview. Like, we got a premiere private screening of Concussion. I'm like, okay, shit's about to change after this. Like, this is going to win an Academy Award. Will Smith's going to win an Oscar. He had to wait years later to slap Chris Rock or Chris Tucker or Chris Hemsworth. Any other Chris's out there? Chris McCarthy. Slap Chris McCarthy during the Academy Awards.
I don't feel like that would have went the same. I feel like Mac would have hit him back.
But Will Smith has that movie come out, and the focus is on concussions there. And we thought the league would change stuff in it. Right. Like, I don't think it's gotten better. Like, I can look.
From there it has to here.
But, like, okay, we watched the game on Amazon Prime, where people used to just know about it because of shopping online. Right. We have a Sky camera that's up there. We can pull up Red Zone on our phone. So the NFL's advanced all these other things, but Tua's helmet can't tell him how big the force was. We're kind of guessing. Is it better than what it was in 2017? Yes. Chris Nowitzki, who you and I talked to in person, and he is one of the few people that we did not book for Radio Row that I personally went up to him and said, Doctor, if you have any time, I'd love to have you on the show. Didn't think he would come. You and I are mid-segment, and all 6'5", we'll say 299 of Dr. Nowitzki sat down. It was one of my favorite conversations we've ever had at Radio Row.
Well, you also nerded out because he was a pro wrestler.
Yes.
Like that.
He also wanted to charge the Dolphins with murder on Twitter on Thursday, which I thought might have been a little excessive.
Well, also, did someone die?
No.
You can't charge murder.
Yeah, that's what he wrote. Yeah. So if you want to see the extremes of social media, people were like, get Tua back out there. He might be okay too. Let's charge them with murder. I thought we'd be in a better spot by October 22 understanding concussions. I'm not sure if we are.
But I think part of what we're dealing with right now says that we are, right? Because this kind of stuff could have happened in 2017 and we all would have been like, well, that sucks. Like, at least now we know there's severity to it and everything like that. The problem becomes the players don't want to miss games. Like, they don't. Like, a guy like Tua doesn't want to come out of a game. He doesn't want to miss the next game. He's finally got a head coach who's nice to him. He's finally got a father figure in his life that's nice to him. So he wants to go out and play for him. You know this as well as anybody. When they do the baseline for your concussion protocol, guys cheat.
You mean my teammates in college?
Like, that's
for real.
Like, I started telling the story about guys cheating, and guys like, let me tell you about the guy, like whatever, and didn't say the guy's name, but like basically what they do is they set a baseline. So they ask you certain questions, they test your reflexes, they do all these things, and that is you optimally functioning with your brain, no damage to it. Well, then you have a concussion or anything like that. They ask you the questions again. The difference between your baseline and where you are now after a head trauma decides whether or not you go to concussion protocol or you can come out or whatever. So what do these guys do, guys?
They cheat their freshman year. They get a low score to start because when they do it a few years later, they're going to actually look improved and not decreasing their abilities.
So they're going to get the chance to go play some more. And this is at Hobart, where I don't want to speak out of turn. I believe one member of the entire Hobart Statesman football fraternity over the ages has ever played in the NFL.
Yep.
Maybe another guy snuck in on a practice squad here or there.
Leather helmet days, right?
One. And they're cheating to stay on the field. So it's like it is a thing. Like, it's a big time thing. I know that in my role with the Albany Empire, there were guys who would dip out on the trainers like you would duck on somebody you owed money to. Because you'd see a guy like take a hit, hurt his knee or whatever, and then you go see him after the game and he's gone. And it's like, where the hell did he go? Like, so you go find the trainer. And I'm not saying what year it was. Remember, I spent 4 years working with the Empire in one way or another. And the trainer goes, I no idea. I told him to come see me after the game. I don't know where he is. And then you call him, he don't answer. The next day, he comes in trotting along. And it's like, let me poke your knee. Get away from me. like they don't want to come off the field because this is their last chance, or this is their first chance, or this is their chance to play. And I'll deal with injuries after the season. Players and teams and everybody else want that guy on the field. That's why that independent contractor was always the biggest part of this for me. The fact that you would take the time to employ that person. That person has to be above reproach. That person needs to be accountable. That person needs to be great at what they do, because the fact that Tua was never put in a concussion protocol is my only issue with all of this.
Yeah, especially that the Buffalo hit where he's stumbling and that stuff is happening. There have been times, I believe it was Patrick Mahomes in a late season game. Might have actually even been a playoff game where Mahomes got taken off the field. They grabbed his helmet. That's the new technique people have used since 2017. You steal the guy's helmet. So
that goes back.
Yeah. So guys can't go back out there and stuff. It just stands out because the Tua had the fencing response with the fingers going up, and we saw it.
Bill Cosby stand up.
Right, yeah. So all that stuff that really stuck out. And look, I could say like we could blame the NFL for the way. I don't think we're ever going backwards. Like the Thursday night thing is here to stay. The international games are here to stay. I would be very surprised if that doesn't happen, that a lot of those concerns that realistically are concerns are going to stop being concerns for that stuff.
My favorite is expand the game day roster. Like, that'll fix it. We'll expand the game day roster. Oh, so of the 53-man roster, instead of what do you used to be able to dress, like 40 or something like that? 40,
yeah, 48, 49, right.
You can dress them all. Matter of fact, let's go up to 60. You're still putting Tua on the field. It's not like, you're still putting your stars out there. If you're like 60% of Tua is better than 100% of Teddy Bridgewater, obviously. Like Teddy Two Gloves looked okay, but I would have thought you'd go to war with Teddy Two Gloves for a day.
I was very pro expanding the rosters, and I started realizing, okay, the only people who are really going to like that are wide receivers and DBs who can play special teams, and the amount of special teams hits is decreased because of the change in the rules. And a third string quarterback who gets the Chase Daniel. We should just call it the Chase Daniel rule,
Justin
basically.
Jefferson in the end zone. That helps my anytime scorer parlay.
Hey, that sounds like it's a winning parlay. Yeah, so all that stuff there, the NFL games, and
just getting started.
Is he the best wide receiver in the NFL? We're still Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs. There's a good, fun battle for the top wide receiver in the NFL.
See, it's tough though because like you got to take a lot of things into account to have that. Like for me, the best wide receiver. Who if you were drafting number 1 overall in a fantasy football league, you had to take a wide receiver. Which one are you taking?
Oh man, I was between Kupp and Jefferson the entire season.
That's what. So like, and it's a keeper. It's a dynasty league.
I would take Jefferson.
All right, then I think he's the number 1 receiver. But it's like he does this with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, as much as I like to destroy him, he's a good stat quarterback. He's like he's not the guy I want leading me in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. But fantasy football wise, he's okay, and getting the ball to his playmakers, he's okay. He lines up under guard occasionally, whatever. It's he's not smart, but like of the quarterbacks we're talking about for these guys too, he's probably third. It's wouldn't you go Stafford, Carr, him?
Yep, I would. Yep.
So and Carr, I don't understand him.
Kupp's coming off an historic season too, one of the great seasons truly ever statistically for a wide receiver in the history of the NFL. Also, I don't want to be bitter about our friends over at DraftKings right now because we love them, but earlier in the week, I was trying to find an anytime touchdown score for Taysom Hill, and because he was on the injury report, they took him off the board. He came off the injury report on Friday, but we saw all the scratches for the Saints. I did not update my phone quick enough, and sure enough, Taysom Hill scored. So, not bitter. Whatever. Start him in 3 fantasy leagues. I'll be okay. I'll survive. Not like I would have wanted that in the UConn money line parlay that I had, but whatever. We'll move on. We can talk about literally anything else, like our friends over at Johnstone Supply in Troy.
Yeah.
See, George would have taken care of me. George would have said, "Guys, I'll make a call for you. It'll happen." He's been helping people for decades across upstate New York. Now he wants to make sure your home is heated properly, whatever it might be. Those furnaces, those boilers, those ACs for the next summer. Those guys take care of you. You stop into 6th Avenue in Troy, they will find exactly what you are looking for. Give them a call today, 518-272-5922. Save this in your phone, send it to a friend, send it to a relative so they can stop asking you questions that might confuse you about your home needs. 518-272-5922. Dare we call them the Taysom Hill of HVAC, right?
No.
HVAC. Because they're like the knife. They can do it all for you. They have all different things they can do. They can help contribute. They can get you into the end zone.
Starters, though. They're starters.
They are starters.
Yeah, you didn't know.
The Tim Tebow of HVACs.
Still, yeah.
Johnstone Supply in Troy. One more time for their number, 518-272-5922. Leave them a nice comment on Facebook. Say, hey, Goz is comparing you to Tim Tebow and Taysom Hill at Johnstone Supply, Troy, NY. Johnstone Supply, Troy, NY. We've got our picks coming up, Levack, but we also
that's the extra point. That sucks.
Not good.
I'm not happy about that.
We have a rare window here on October 2nd, 2022, week 4 into the NFL year. We have finally all the New York teams in the 1:00 window. Is that a respect of what the expectations were preseason of Buffalo? The Giants got a game out there. Jet fan, you have yet to see the primetime window yet, but it feels like that's a really respectful thing for New York sports fans. That here we are, week 4, and it's the first time all the New York teams are in the 1:00 window because of, I guess we could say, performance. We could, you know what? I like this question better. After 3 weeks, do you think all 3 New York teams have exceeded expectations?
No. Giants 100% have. Jets have underperformed, and oddly enough, Bills kind of underperformed. You think they would have won last week.
See, it's weird. It's the combination of the Bills. Those first 2 weeks were historically good. I mean, they're just destroying teams. Go back through the history of the Bills. I'd love to see a Bill team do what they did against a defending Super Bowl champion, an AFC top-seeded team. And they were really banged up against Miami. And now I sound like the Bill fan making excuses. Totally agree with you on the Giants. Did not think they would be that good. The Jets, I don't want to do a push as an answer. I think I have a lot better of an understanding of what the expectations were for the New York Jets after this, because nobody expected you to beat Baltimore. Nobody expected you to beat Cincinnati. And that was a come-from-behind victory against Cleveland. Jets could easily be 0-3 right now if Joe Flacco didn't find whatever he found. So that win against Cleveland helps. They go out today and they beat Pittsburgh, though. 2-2, heading towards Miami and Green Bay.
If Zach Wilson looks good, even if you lose, but you look good, you can start to exceed. But yeah, if Zach Wilson is good and you win and you beat a Pittsburgh team with a beat up Jets team, that is big. It's hard for me to pick the Jets in that game, though. I want to, but I got to see something first, especially with how beat up that offensive line. That offensive line is annihilated, but those young, exciting players look good. And if Zach Wilson can get them the ball in space, they should win.
Is there anything about your potential bitterness or frustration to pick the Jets because you audibled last week at the last second and moved the Jets into one of your locks? Like moments before being locked into locks, you called an Omaha and put the Jets in and they whiffed on you.
The only reason I'll say no to that is I just have a short memory. Like it's
good.
It's not like one of those things like I mentally prepare myself that like, oh, forget that last play or whatever. No, it's bad actually. It's probably years of over having fun. You know what I mean? Being overserved. I guess I don't get the like all of them being in the 1 o'clock window being like a big respect thing. I think it's because I'm older. Because I remember a time when like the Bills were like the featured 1 o'clock game, the Giants were the featured 4 o'clock game, and the Jets would like sneak into a primetime game here and there. Like there was a point where like you had a New York team featured in each time frame. And I think that's when you know New York football is crushing it. Is when each one is like when the Giants are America's game at 4 o'clock, but the Jets are the CBS game, and the Bills are Monday Night Football, something like that, where you're just like, oh damn, like we're front and center every time you turn the TV on.
I think that is an age thing.
You don't remember that. Yeah,
I really don't. I feel bad now where I'm like, okay, maybe in my head it was like, and maybe that's because transitionally some of these franchises have been in so different spots.
Let me take you back to a time when Phil Simms, Vinny Testaverde, and Jim Kelly were quarterbacks for the New York football team. It was amazing. There was a player on each one of those teams that legitimately was in the Pro Bowl. It was great.
Halfway through that, you started to sound like Byron Hunt.
Hell, maybe.
I miss Byron.
That's the only, really?
What's he doing right now? Like right now,
Coke?
At this,
I'm sorry, Pepsi. He's a Pepsi guy.
At this moment, where's Byron Hunt? We have not heard from Byron pre-COVID. I hope he's still with us. Byron Hunt's still with us, right?
Oh yeah, dude. He'll be him, Twinkies and cockroaches
right.
After nuclear war. He's not going anywhere. That I was just saying, that's the one plus side about not being on the radio anymore. We don't get our annual freaking shakedown from Byron Hunt. Need you guys to come and help me. I've got a big bowling tournament where we're giving away NFL Super Bowl tickets, and I'm going to charge raffles. And you blah blah blah. And you're like, you can't do that. We can't be a part of that. Yeah, you can. No, we really can't. Okay, well, I won't talk about any of that as soon as he gets on. I got a big raffle going. And it's like, Byron Hunt. My guy.
If anyone sees Byron, it's at
run.
Jeff Levack on Twitter.
You
at Tom
Byron.
Goz. Is that Byron right
Put
there?
your hand over your wallet and run. My man is into I got these wipes that I'm working with. They're for your uniforms and everything, your pads and everything. It's cool. You need them. I'll sell them to you. I don't wear pads. I don't. Oh, they're good for other things. No,
they're not, Byron.
It got to the point towards the end, like nobody could ever see this. So he'd be on the phone. I'd be standing behind the board. Goz would be over in his seat. And I would just be looking at Goz like, why is this still happening? I'd be trying to wrap the call. He would go, Byron would catch me trying to wrap him early and be like, I can keep talking. I got nowhere to be. It's like, no, I'm good, man. Hey, Byron, do you think the Giants could win this game against the Cowboys? Hell, maybe. Wait. I thought you were going to have an opinion.
There is a small percentage of people, and I can't tell if they were just enjoying our suffering, that enjoyed that. And I think it was just maybe they had been overserved or over-ordered, as Chad told us earlier, involving Byron Hunt. I wish him the best wherever that is.
You know what? Corey's dead.
Corey's comment here. Explain to him why we
Dead.
can't do this, because I wonder.
Well, hold on. How about this? How
Mm-hmm.
about, hey, Corey, stop being a cheap prick and pay for the NFL fucking package on your phone, okay? It's against the law for us to show that full game out there. Plus, this is on because we're live at the Hideaway. Levack and Goz live at the Hideaway. You, dead to me. Dead to me, Corey. You're out. Corey from Greenwich, no longer Corey from Greenwich.
Dead to us.
Dead. He's out. He will no longer, until he makes amends, he will never be referenced on Levack and Goz again.
Because of him trying to illegally watch the NFL game behind us?
By saying that what we're doing is not interesting and he'd rather watch the London game, he's out. He's out. I'm going Shark Tank. And for that, I'm out.
I'm out. Corey, think about what you've done.
Yeah,
You're in timeout now.
Who?
You ready for some picks? Week 4 predictions. Levack, a strong week last week for you. 9-6-1. You would have gone undefeated, I believe, on your locks. Excuse me, you would have gone 3-1 on your locks. And instead, what happened was you lost 2 games by a combined 1.5 points. Me, not so well. 0-3-1 on my locks. I have last week's record in there, by the way. I do not have our locks record in there. I have double parentheses, which I'll fix in a second. 0-3-1. 0-3-1 on my locks last week. And I went 6-9-1 with my picks.
Nice
is right. If I'm ever going to stink, I hope it stinks.
You hope you stink at 69?
That's right.
Oh, poor girl.
Somebody is going to realize the math is off here. We did not pick the Thursday game between the Bengals and the Dolphins, so I'm sure next week.
I got that, though.
You did? You hit it?
Yeah, not on ours, but I did hit it.
Oh, okay, nice.
I hit it in my DraftKings account.
I did not touch it.
That.
Let's lead off here with what could be one of the best games of the 1 o'clock window.
Hold on a second.
A 60-yarder is good from the Saints to tie it up.
On the pitch.
Will Lutzy.
On the pitch.
Clea, our Eagles fan here, is excited for Eagles, Jags. Jacksonville Jaguars, Philadelphia Eagles. 6.5-point favorites, Philadelphia in the city of brotherly love. 44 over under. Levack, what do you see in this Jags-Eagles game?
I see my first lock of the day is what I see. I see a Doug Peterson revenge game. What did I tell you the rules were for revenge games? They only matter if the team you're getting revenge against did something that is worthy of revenge and if your locker room likes you. Well, Eagles, welcome to your revenge game. Doug Peterson coming for that ass, and everybody in the Jacksonville locker room is going to be there for him. They are thrilled to have a guy who's not knuckle deep in a co-ed while he's supposed to be traveling back with the team. They're thrilled to have a guy who doesn't kick the kicker. They're thrilled to have a guy who's actually worried about X's and O's and coaching them. They will play inspired football for him today. I might even sprinkle a little straight up money line on the Jags, but definitely plus 6.5 points. That is my first lock of the day. Jags. Hurrah.
You jumped the gun on me here about a future bet and money line play here. But what I mean by that is the winner of this game, go invest something for the future for either one. Yeah, a for real game, a leave no doubt game for both these teams. Because if Philadelphia wins and they win by 7, who's going to be my pick in this game? I'm going to take Philly because I thought the Eagles were good from the season start in August. But if they win this, they should be the favorite in the NFC. That's how good they're playing right now. The only undefeated team left in the NFL would be Philadelphia with a win here. And if Jacksonville wins, go get what you still can for the number on them to win the AFC South, because I think they will leave no doubt, if they can beat Philadelphia on the road, that they're the best team in that division. So this is a for real game. This is a truth game. I'm going to lean with the Eagles just because last week they were a lock for me. I'm talking about the Commanders against the Eagles, and that was a horrendous pick by me. So I will not bite on this again a second time. Give me the Eagles minus 6.5 in this one. We go to the AFC South, same division as the Jags. This is the Titans and the Colts. The game is in Indy. The Colts at home are a 4-point favorite. Over under in this one is 43.
I liked the Colts a lot more when it was 3. I liked them a little bit more when it was 3.5. I still like them at 4. I wanted them to be a lock. The 4 kind of takes them out of lock territory for me. So I'm going to have to scramble and find my last lock. But I definitely like the Colts. I think the Titans are done. I think it's over for them. We all kind of know what the real weapon is. The wide receiver core is a joke, and the quarterback is a bigger joke. It's King Henry. They threw the ball to him 6 times last week, 6 targets, which is a big thing. And I think it's cool. Like fantasy football wise, I'm definitely all over that. but I think the Colts are good enough on defense. Lawson will play this week. That I'll take the Colts. I'll lay the 4. There's a chance it wiggles back into my locks as we go, but it would have been a lock at 3. It would have been lock adjacent at 3.5, but it's definitely a solid pick at 4.
For the second week in a row, I'm asking the same question about both these teams. How'd you get so bad so fast? Like, what happened? Like, guys, both the same theme. And I know Indy just came off the win for Tennessee, win against Kansas City. And Tennessee had that win against the Raiders, which was, I thought, potentially a lock for Las Vegas for how Tennessee's been playing. I will take the Colts in this one as well. Hopefully you think some momentum starts building for Indy for that. Tennessee's got some more issues, but that whole thing, man, it's inconsistent, which I'm very shocked from both of those franchises that's the word I'm using to describe those two teams.
Were you the one who told me that was the first time Jonathan Taylor's missed a practice like since before high school? No, it was Matt Woods. It was your fellow statesman.
Yeah.
Taylor took a day off of practice, and it's the first time he's missed a practice since before high school.
That's a hell of a stat right there. Good for him, man.
And I counted as rested. I counted as rested and ready to go.
Commanders, Cowboys, the rivalry, NFC East. Game in Texas. The Cowboys are a 3-point favorite, over under at 41.
I friggin' hate this game. Like, I hate this game. There's the two people that I think could easily just not be in the NFL and it would be better for it are facing off in this game. Carson Wentz, quarterback of the Commanders, and McCarthy, coach of the Cowboys. I just think the Cowboys will find a way to screw this game up. I believe in Ron Rivera still, even with what's going on around there. I'll take the Commanders, and I just without a commanding amount of passion.
This feels like Bears Texans last week, where it feels more likely a push than a win or a loss from either side. I'm also taking the Commanders, and why do I keep doing it? Like, why do I keep I took the Commanders last week. I took them earlier in the season, and the defensive
even line, a broken clock is right twice a day. I mean, maybe that's what you're thinking.
The Carson Wentz was good the first 2 weeks. He went back to being a lower tier Carson Wentz last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. But Dallas, like, I look at this roster and like a backup quarterback. Zeke is still nowhere close to what he used to be. CeeDee Lamb is okay, but they really are kind of still hurt without Amari Cooper. They don't feel like a good team, Dallas. And I know they won on Monday night against New York. That's not an impressive win in the Giants' match. I'll go with Washington.
Can I bet a push?
That'd be pretty awesome.
Is there a way to bet a push?
I think you can bet score, like 24-21 exact score.
I just want to bet a push. I could see this being a 3-point game.
I was going to say like -110 to +110. You could have got like a small interest buyback. They're not even letting you do that either.
No.
Browns, Falcons. This is a +1. The Falcons are getting 1 point at home, over under 48.5. This Falcons, by the way, basically in that same spot last week when they played the Seahawks in basically a pick'em game. How do you see this one playing off between the Falcons and the Browns?
Again, this is another one. Like, there's a couple games this week that if you told me the only way I could bet it would be a mortgage payment.
Hello, Jordan.
I would avoid
There's
it
my
like
wife. There she is.
Oh, the most beautiful Gozlowski.
Swing that camera around.
How did
you look beautiful?
Like, did you drug her? Like, how did you get her? Tall, beautiful woman.
Jordan,
great
come back.
Smile. How did you do it?
I think about it every day. We're gonna get her take on.
No, you don't.
We were thinking about getting her take on Browns Falcons. She's actually a Browns fan. Walked right in during that. Yeah, she likes Baker Mayfield. She's a little confused by the whole why is he no longer on the Browns. I'll explain it to her later.
I'm going to take the Browns because I think the Browns have more talent top to bottom. Nick Chubb could have a day. But if you told me that coaching and like an innovative style of doing things got this done for the Falcons, it wouldn't blow my mind.
I could see Cleveland just eating the clock up. Just the whole game they win. Like, I'm keep my eye on that under, by the way. Yeah, I like Cleveland as well. But now that thought process of the offensive line dominating Falcons up front is me thinking about a potential Omaha on one of my locks now. You know what? No. We're doing it right now. I'm taking the under as a lock in this game. 48.5. That makes too much more sense.
Big number.
It is. And when you see a number like 48.5, you think like, okay, they're going to get to 49. They'll get under. Under is a lock now for this.
But to your point, the quarterback duel in this game is Jacoby Brissett and Marcus Mariota. And we're not talking about college. We're not talking about collegiate right now. What is it, 48.5?
48.5.
I'll lock the over.
Oh, our second lock-off battle. Chubb and Patterson, weird statement out loud that top 7, 2 of the top 7, top 5 statistical running backs in the NFL so far. So the last time we had a lock-off, Levack won and the Rams Cardinals.
I'm just saying, there's no way on God's green earth that total should be that high. 2 running teams, what's left of Marcus Mariota. Where did Brissett even play his college ball?
NC State.
This isn't NC State versus Oregon. This is Atlanta versus this is Cordell Patterson running against Nick Chubb.
Games inside, by the way, so that Hurricane Ian. I hate how it's Ian. I have a cousin, brother-in-law. It's Ian, but there's EIN. I have a cousin-in-law who spells his name like that. His name is Ian, but he spells it EIN. And there's Ian Eagle, who's a part of the CBS broadcast.
Well, Ian Eagle's also a nerd.
So. Seahawks Lions games in Detroit -3. I'm jumping the gun. I have to go first on this one.
Okay.
Every week it's the same stupid take by me for the Detroit Lions. I hate betting the Lions. I can't do this anymore with you guys. I'm taking Detroit. I would love for
3.
I'm taking the 3. I like Detroit. They played better than the Seahawks have so far this season. But my God, I can just smell this going to be 355. The Lions are going to be down by 7. Goff throws a touchdown. Game goes to overtime. This feels like the classic Lions collapse game in the fourth quarter. I like Detroit. They're better. I'm taking them, but I can just feel the ultimate pass for me is again for Detroit football. You drive me nuts.
You do know. No Amon St. Brown. Yep. No Amon Ross.
No DeAndre Swift.
No DeAndre Swift. And you're still going Lions.
That's why I hate betting this team. I'm taking the Lions.
I think it's just going to be an ugly, ugly game. I think Seattle will find a way to make it ugly. That's what they do right now. They drag you down in the mud. They wrestle you like a pig wrestlings.
Ew.
That's what they do. You get squeal like a pig, Detroit. You know me. I am the Lion King, guys. So I gotta go Lions. Gotta go Lions.
Chargers Texans game is in Houston. Texans at home getting 5.5 points. Note this 1:00 kickoff for a West Coast team playing on the East Coast, technically in the Central Time Zone. Earlier kickoff, noon kickoff in Houston. Chargers Texans. What do you see in this matchup?
The Texans are in every game. Like the Texans, top to bottom, probably the least talented team in the NFL right now, and they're in every game. Still don't know exactly what's going on with Herbert's ribs. So I'll take those points. I'll take the Texans. This is lock adjacent. It's not a full lock. I like it, though. Texans +6, I feel pretty good about.
Another late change for me here on this one because it felt like the Chargers all week for me. But a home team getting points, 1:00, noon, as I just noted there by accident. Why were they so bad against Jacksonville last week? I know Herbert played, so Herbert gets on the field. Chargers play poorly. Keenan Allen's out for this game. Weird. It feels like a Texan cover Charger win, but I also would like a home team getting points in that. I like the Texans in that as well. We move to our 4:00 window. 4:05 is the kickoff set for this one. It's the Cardinals taking on the Panthers. Panthers at home, they are a 1-point favorite. Over-under in this game is 43.5.
I'm going to go ahead and take the Panthers. The Titans are toast. The Cardinals are toast. And the worst part about those two teams being toast is their heyday, their best possible scenario. They didn't get it done. All good. Unless Polly Prissy Pants over here, Mr. Pig Panties wants to finally get a drink. Like they missed their window is what it feels like. So as bad as the Panthers are, and the fact that like this could legitimately, like you were talking about the Philadelphia Jacksonville game, where it's like if Philadelphia wins, they're undefeated. That means this, that means that, whatever. This could be the who's unemployed first game. If Carolina beats Arizona, Cliff Kingsbury, his seat warms up considerably, almost as much as my heated Silverado seat from Mohawk Chevrolet. If not, and if it goes the other way, I think Matt Rule could be out. So I think Carolina will play well enough to win this game. And that's my compliment to them is, okay, you did it right.
This is, as the kids say now, the Gen Zers, the most mid
61-yard field goal attempt to try and win the game with 2 seconds left. Not that we're allowed to tell you that.
This feels like a very basic game because coaching against the Cardinals and Panthers seems pretty easy. Hey, blitz Kyler Murray because he doesn't have DeAndre Hopkins and he has no running backs right now that are effective. For the Panthers, slow down McCaffrey when they decide to actually get him the football, and DJ Moore has been a non-option for Baker Mayfield. So the coaching in this game has been pretty basic. I will go with the Panthers, even though they were so bad against the Saints. The Cardinals were worse against the Rams. I will take the Panthers in this one. Turnover strong game, though. Like, this could be a 7-0 game at halftime with like 5 picks, a couple fumbles. Weird game there in Carolina involving those teams.
Coaching this game, so basic. It's wearing stretchy pants, Uggs, a vest, and ordering a pumpkin spice latte. That's how fucking basic this coaching is going to be. It is as basic as it can get. People are screaming, no good. We're going OT across the pond.
No. 28-25.
28. Oh, I was hoping. I didn't even see Minnesota score.
Look at that. Vikings.
They couldn't.
28-25 final. Cheerio. Cheers, mate. Hello, I'm a Viking.
Couldn't get 4. Had to miss your extra point, didn't you pricks? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, we're going to do this game instead. Patriots, Packers. Packers at Lambeau Field, 9.5-point favorites. Over/under is 40.
I hate both these teams this year. I think we're finally seeing the just the degrade of the Patriots, just trusting. Like, all we need is Belichick. No, you need a support staff. And we're seeing Green Bay is just an insane ayahuasca trip in Aaron Rodgers' mind. That being said, that trip is still pretty entertaining. I'll lay the 9.5 points with Green Bay. I'll lock the 9.5 points with Green Bay. That's one of my third locks so far today.
Oh no. Levack and I have a similar lock.
Similar?
It's the same one.
The Packers. It's the same. It's not similar.
9.5 lock for me. Here's why I'm hesitant to do that. Not because you and I lock, and sometimes our record with that is very poor, but because this feels like the biggest sucker bet maybe of the entire NFL season, right? Like Rodgers, Green Bay, backup quarterback in New England. They can't score. They can't move. They got no This feels like the biggest sucker bet of the season to take the Packers at 9.5 at home. And if that's the case, I'm a sucker because I'm also locking it in. This feels like it's going to blow up in my face because it seems too obvious. And when you wager on sports, when it's too obvious, they know something you don't. But I'm still ignoring all of those things and taking the Packers with a lock in that game. Broncos, Raiders, Levack, your Vegas Raiders are a 2.5-point favorite at home against an AFC West team. We know your scouting report on the Broncos. Do you feel that same way about that team from the Mile High City in this matchup?
The Broncos are trash. I mean,
can we do that all season long? Every time we go to a Bronco game, they're trash.
Well, I mean, they are. They're absolute trash. You talk about sucker bets. How about giving up what they gave up to get Russell Wilson? Oof. How about hiring Buddy Hackett as your head coach? Buddy the Hackett as your head coach, thinking you were going to get Aaron Rodgers. Like they are trash. Like, just absolute. I'll tell you this, the Broncos aren't worth the goose shit that covers the entire area around Mile High Stadium. It's a true thing. If you've ever been to one of those games, it's offensive how much goose crap is just all over the place there. It's disgusting. It really is. I really think they're horrible, disgusting, vile. And now they have to go to Vegas. They can see a real stadium, real facilities. I got to take my Raiders. I don't feel good about either because everything I just said about Denver, Vegas has tried to emulate, except for the goose shit, obviously. And but we probably have tiger or lion shit around the Death Star. So just I'll take the Raiders because Denver is worse than the Raiders.
I will be less graphic with my pick and just take the Raiders. I will basically say that.
Have you ever been to Mile High?
No, I've never been.
It's beautiful until you look down and realize it's just goose shit everywhere, just goose.
Gross.
It's Denver is a goose. You know the joke about why birds fly upside down over Cleveland? Because there's nothing worth shitting on there. Apparently, Denver's just good enough to shit on. That's what it is.
The Raiders have played better than the Broncos, and the records.
You're the one who gave me 3 Bloody Marys. Don't look at me, Clea.
The records don't reflect it.
Clea's fault, not mine.
I'm locking in the Raiders. One of my other locks.
You locking in?
I'm locking your Raiders in on a 4:25 kickoff. The Raiders, Denver. Thinking back at that San Francisco game. What a horrible Sunday night game that was. They had one good drive that was good enough to beat the Niners. Yeah. We go to the primetime games now. We're going to go back to the New York teams. Our final picks will be the New York teams. 8:30, Chiefs, Bucks. I'm wearing a Buccaneer long sleeve shirt.
You are.
I'm jumping the gun. Again, this is a 1-point spread. Tampa favored by 1 at home. over under 46.5. I'm going first in my Buccaneers because if you've been following our picks this season, and this will not be time stamped because a little different audience. If you're watching live, you get them instead. I'm 0-3 when we talk about Buccaneers picks. I've picked against my Bucs 3 times. I'm 1-2 with that record. But preseason, one of my hottest takes of the summer, the hottest take of the summer was that the Kansas City Chiefs were not going to make the playoffs this season. And for that to happen, they need to start losing games. And I've decided to take my stance. Tampa gets it done. The offense is not great. Tom Brady is old. The wide receivers are injured. But you know what? I'm stubborn, and I'm sticking by that Kansas City's schedule's too tough. Tampa at home, they're battling some elements. There was rumors that this game was going to be in Minnesota. Tampa, give it to me. I'm finally picking you. It took till October to take my favorite team and to pick. Give me the Bucs against the Chiefs.
Do you know that this opened with the Chiefs as a favorite? Chiefs were like a 1-point favorite.
That's a lot of public money going on my Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Did you know that Tom Brady is 15-1 after a loss as an underdog?
Ooh.
Too bad he's not an underdog anymore. Give me Kansas City. I'll do it. Not so fast, my friend. Kansas City. Mahomes is better. Brady's old. There's something wrong with him. He looks like he needs to eat. Like, I don't know if he needs a freaking almond protein shake. Like, I don't know what's
garbage
going
plate?
on. He definitely could use a garbage plate. Like, watch him get fat as a fucking house after he retires. Like, he'll be a reverse Jeff Saturday. Like, he'll just be like, looks like a runway model. He's all gaunt, cheeks sucked. Looks like a vampire that hasn't eaten in 60 years. And then all of a sudden, he's just going to walk off the field, chug 6 beers, and be a dude. Just get after it. He'll be singing Mr. Brightside at a freaking Michigan game, just covered in nacho cheese.
Keep thinking of White Goodman from Dodgeball.
Yeah. Yes.
That's
yeah. Oh my
character.
God. I was headed to the Empire office on Friday. The people from Impact Wrestling were coming in to shoot a promo because we're going to be at the Impact show next week because I'm still helping out with the Empire with its media and stuff. Yay! And I get like halfway there and I dump a coffee in the front of me. So I'm like, guys, I'll be there. I just did this. Mike Corda, I used to say my best friend, one of my best friends, if he even ranks anymore, instantly sends the Dwight Goodman, just fat guy covered in food picture. And I'm like, I don't know why. I don't know if I'm pissed or if I should feel like honored that you've been holding on to that, waiting for me to make like a food, like to spill a piece of food. So yeah.
How long was that gift sitting there?
Right.
Rams Niners Monday Night Football. 1.5-point favorite San Francisco at home, over under 42.5. Before you give the pick, I think we need to remind people this was the NFC title game last season.
Yeah.
Doesn't that feel like a long time ago with these two franchises?
It does. And here's the deal, right? So the Rams have not fallen off nearly as much as people would like you to believe they have. The Niners are not as good yet as we thought they might be, but this is what, 2 weeks of Jimmy G getting practice now. Jimmy G has an amazing record against the Rams. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but he beats the Rams more often than he loses to them. I'm going to take the Niners. I just think the Niners are going to be in this all year. And kind of like you were saying about the Chiefs, if they're going to fall out of it, they're going to start losing. The Niners need to win. They need to win some games. And I think this is a game they win. I think it puts them in the conversation for an NFC contender.
Totally thinking the same way on this because this line, these numbers, the style, a lot of it doesn't make sense. Again, Rams have not played their best football, but San Francisco's looked terrible in some games. The loss to Chicago, the loss to Denver, they've been bad early in the season. There's no way they're this bad. It may be a situation of the combination of Mike McDaniel no longer being there with Shanahan. I wouldn't even call it Garoppolo back and forth. I'd say the running backs is just a non-threat, and Deebo Samuel's good, but he eventually needs help out there.
Well, he's still rusty because remember he took so much time off in the offseason.
Yep. I will go with the Niners as well, though, because that game just doesn't feel right. Something strange going on with that matchup on Monday night. All right, let's get to the New York teams. Let's lead off with the Buffalo Bills. By the way, all 3 of these games, 1 o'clock window. Come join us here at the Hideaway. Enjoy the action with us. Bills, Ravens, 3.5-point favorites. Baltimore at home in this one. Over under 50.5.
So after Buffalo's loss to Miami, I instantly said, I went Mr. T. I pitted a fool who has to play him next week. And then I realized the Ravens are pretty good. I like the Bills -3.5 in this game. I love the over. Lock in over 50.5 points. Bills, Ravens. I'll take the Bills. However, the Ravens are stinking good. The Bills are just better, but give me that over 50.5 as a lock.
I like that it's 3.5 now for Baltimore because of the injuries for the Bills. I will take the Ravens with the points. I would have liked that a lot more if it was 2.5. 3.5 is fine. Baltimore, solid squad. You mentioned the over-under at 50.5. I audibled off of that in the picks. So that Browns game, that Browns-Falcons game, that was originally not my lock. My lock was over Bills-Ravens, hopped off in here at the last second. So now I'm going over in that, but it's not a lock. I do like your overplay. I audibled off of that, but I do like the Ravens. Sorry, Bills fans. The injuries eventually pile up against a really good team. Let's move on to the Giants and the Bears. Giants at home, 2.5-point favorites, over under 39.5. If your memory serves correct, don't forget that 39 number was also the over under last week against Dallas. Yeah. Our first push of the season involving that game. 23-16 was the final.
So that total, like I so want to bet the under, but I'm the kind of person, if I bet the under, I'm twitching the entire game. Like if I bet the over, I can walk away, I can do whatever, I can watch it, I can be like, I'll do a little math, like, all right, if I average 12 points a quarter, I'll do whatever, you know. But the under, I get twitchy. I can't do it and enjoy a game. So I'm going to stay away from that. I think this is Daboll's chance to prove that he has this organization headed in the right direction. You lose a tough one. You got beat up a little bit by a rival, but now you get to go play a team that you're better than. You are better than the Bears. Can you take this young, kind of battered squad, not your guys, get them all rowing the boat in the same direction, get the bounce back win? I think this is a very, very, very important game for the Giants. So I will take Big Blue. Give me the G-Men.
The Giants over under last week was a lock for me, and I missed it because it was a push. Give me that hook this time. I'm going back to the under. My fourth and final lock is the under in this one, 39.5. Your scout report was really spot on there for the Giants. So all I'll add is this. It's a really good matchup for the Giants. The defense has been really good. Chicago doesn't throw the football. They've had issues in their backfield with Montgomery, not 100%. Herbert's been fantastic, but if you slow down just Herbert and they don't let Justin Fields throw the football, and the Giants just got to get a few big plays from Saquon, it'd be nice if this was a matchup where New York had a real strong, deep threat. Galladay is not the guy. Tony hasn't lived up to the draft type. If they had a speedster in this game, that would be the difference for the Giants. I'd feel way more confident about it. That's not the case yet, but I will take the Giants in what should be a really good game. I like the Giants over under lock under 39.5.
You just got booed.
I saw that.
How can you? We're at the Hideaway, Saratoga, New York. You got booed for taking the Giants.
Last one here, Jets Steelers. Steelers at home, 3-point favorites. Over under 41.
I really I got to see something for Zach Wilson before I'll take this team over a Mike Tomlin Steelers team. I get it. No TJ Watt, no this, no that, whatever. But I got Najee Harris. Like I've heard people go, it's Mitchell Trubisky. Mitchell Trubisky can play. Like he can play. Like, do I want the ball? Do I want the game resting on his arm? No, and that's where I think you're going to see Najee Harris come in this game. Too many injuries on the Jets' offensive line, too much rust on Zach Wilson. I got to take the Steelers.
I so badly, every single week, want to take the Jets. I want to see the Jets do well. Every week I talk about what the Jets can do. Zach Wilson is a question mark for sure. The thing about this is, in similar fashion to the Giants-Bears game, a lot of things are in favor for the Jets here. You mentioned the quarterback situation for Pittsburgh. What does that stand like? Is Harris going to be arguably the best offensive player on the field? I think that's a really strong case. Even for a young guy like him, you can make that. But New York's defense is built to slow down a quarterback like Trubisky. Their defensive backs with Sauce Gardner out there can lock up on some young receivers. I don't like that it's 3. Can we get it to 3.5 so I can take New York? This smells like a push again. I can see Pittsburgh kicking a field goal with 30 seconds left. I would love to play the Jets first half. I think Wilson can get out and find some targets he's been waiting for. I would play Jets first half. I will take Pittsburgh.
I think Pitt wins the thing 17-13, 21-13, something like that. It's not. This is not going to be the most exciting game you see all day.
No,
it's not going to be that. However, that offensive line is not there. We know what Mike Tomlin is. He's one of the best coaches in the NFL. big game Bob Saleh, we're not really sure yet. I got love for him, but I don't know if he's the guy yet. So, yeah, I just can't do it. Is that all of them?
That's it. That's all the games we have. We are done picking games. We are here at the Hideaway, a packed 1 o'clock window. We will be somewhere up there. I think we're going in the back room like we usually do. So we got some cool things that you could potentially win. So cool that I don't even know what they are.
Yeah, me neither. He who shall not be named asked a question. We'll do a quick Q&A at the end of the day just because, well, we're running out of time. If you were at the game, if you caught the 62 ball, what would you have to get for it? 100K, signed game jersey, season tickets, or what? Well, we kind of answered this already. He who shall not be named from the farm. I mean, I want tickets in perpetuity. I want an autographed bat. And I don't know, something else. Throw something spicy in there for me, and I'll hand the ball over. The ball is going to Aaron Judge. I'm handing the ball to Aaron Judge after some level of negotiation. There's no way on God's green earth that I would sell the ball to someone not named Aaron Judge. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, so I'm going to get what I can get from the Yankees and Aaron Judge. And then the ball will go from my fat hand to Aaron Judge's hand. That is done. That is the deal.
I think it's a really cool thing. I think Aaron Judge getting the ball is awesome. If you get some financial benefits from it. When we were first asked this question last week, I said, I don't know if I want money for it because we feel different because we do. Now I've changed my tune. I would like money for it.
Well, money or something that like has a monetary value that you could sell and then feel better about later. Like, I don't know, season tickets in perpetuity.
I'll take the cash up front, please.
You used to do SeatGeek, man. Come on now.
Promo code Goz,
yeah.
G-O-Z.
Well, I'm saying I could put those tickets on SeatGeek. I could get cash just rolling, baby. And I want good seats. Like, I don't need great seats. I want field level. I gotta have field level. You know, I want home side. You know, as long as I get those things, I'm not looking for Audi. I don't want an Audi suite for the rest of my life. Like, I'm not looking for that. You know, but I do want access to all the big, the nice rooms,
nice little press pass or whatever it is.
Well, because like the Mets, like I don't know if this is still the case, but Citi Field, you pay like $50, you can go to every one of their luxury suites.
Oh,
with the Yankees, you need tickets in the Pepsi suite, tickets in the Jim Beam suite, tickets like, and they upsell. Like I want season tickets somewhere nice on the field level, and I want a pass that gets me into all those places rest of my life. Look at me, I'm fat, I'm getting older every day. It's not gonna be that long, and an autographed bat. I hand the ball to Judge, and I don't know, something else, maybe a parking pass, and then we're good, and then we're okay.
We've got some very frustrated wagers, I guess, early in the morning. Chet and also Nick in Syracuse both wrote in the Vikings stink.
Yeah,
they won though. They won.
So myself and Mike Corda, owner of Techie's Fire and Water Restoration, your best way back to normal. The winter season, fall is coming. You're going to make sure you have our numbers saved for you. No, he wrote that he also lost this bet based on a half point, as I did. And so I wrote back to him, do I even want to know what you bet? And he just laughed at me.
That's a no.
So yeah, because me, like if I have money set in my gambling account, what I do is it's all part of my budget, right? So like DraftKings, blah blah blah, wager
promo code 518.
Yeah, wager responsibly. So like what I'll do is if I had, let's say I had $100 a week to go towards going out and drinking. Well, every time I don't go out, that $100 goes into my fund bank. Well, my fund bank becomes my gambling bank. So I'll throw $100 in there, If I've won up to a large level, I'll bet big numbers. I'll do it. I'm not afraid. His fund bank is a little bigger than my fund bank. So I can't even fathom what he lost on this game this morning. I mean, we're probably talking bands.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Sticks.
Yeah.
All right. Last one here. I like this one from Bert. Do you guys think in the Jets-Steelers game it could be the debut of Kenny Pickett?
No, because I don't think they're going to get. I don't think they're going to play bad enough. I think they're going to the game. I don't think the game's ever going to really be in question.
This one has me spinning a little bit because if it's not now, then when? Because the rest of the Steelers schedule looks like this: Buffalo, Tampa, Miami, Philly. Those are 4 playoff teams in a row they're going to get. Then the bye week. So we're not going to see Pickett potentially until week 10.
Yeah.
It's either now or New Orleans. It's one of those two. But
I take New Orleans.
If the Jets are down, if the Jets are up, like I thought they will be in the first half, I'm curious what's going to happen in that third quarter.
I don't know if we see him this year, To be perfectly honest with you, I mean, well, why would you? Why would you? The only way you see him this year is if Trubisky plays well enough that he's sought after, yet you're losing.
That makes sense. Yeah, like what's the value of Trubisky?
Right.
He's sitting on your
Like
bench. You
like
just
if-
wasted it. Yeah.
Like if Miami goes, hey, we're not going to have Tua back. I'd rather have Mitchell than Teddy Two Gloves, like that kind of stuff. That's it. All right. What do you want to get some breakfast garbage plug?
Let's do it.
Plate?
You and I are back Tuesday. Techies Fire.
See you next Tuesday, everyone.
We're back
We're
Tuesday
doing that from
live.
Tech?
Yep. Tuesday we're back at Tech, and then
Live from
next
Techies
Sunday we're back
Fire
here.
and Water Restoration. Your best way back to normal. Find us online at tefirewater.com.
Also, a scheduling note: keep your eyes peeled when the Yankee playoff schedule comes out. There could be a Thursday.
Have you ever visualized it, like peeling your eyes? Like,
There could be a Thursday Levack and Goz coming up in October. More details on the way.
is that where you're trying to get us into Hooters?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. More details on that on us being at Hooters on upcoming Thursday. All right. You want some advice?
Yes.
You want some advice? Be nice to your bartender if she looks like Clea. Let's go. Come to the Hideaway. There's your advice right there.